Hello,
Okay.
it's Cherrydoom.
Hello, it's Chuuurls.
Hi, it's Chad.
And this chapter,
It's not a chapter at all.
not a chapter, welcome to the gray void. It's just us floating in this gray nothingness.
You may be asking yourself, why are we floating in this great nothingness? That's because I had finals last week, and not only did I lose the pre-recorded episode that we did, I also didn't have time to edit, even if I did have an episode. Not even if I had time to edit it, because if I had time to edit it, I had time.
But that's okay. We're just gonna riff. There's plenty of 50 Shades material that we can talk about without cracking the book, unless it's to read something humorous.
I wonder if this counts as a meta episode, actually.
Maybe. We're not answering questions.
No, we're not. And we're not really...
Yeah, this
It's like a mini meta.
Yeah.
Meta.
Yeah, really. Oh, never mind. That's pretty apt.
Well, for Mother's Day yesterday, my mom told me that she listened to the first episode, and I was like, "Oh no!" And she was like, "No, I thought it was great. You guys were really good. I thought you were just gonna make fun of it, but you really analyzed it and tried to give the author some credit." And I liked it. I thought it was cute. You sounded like three intelligent people talking.
Aw,
It was
that's so
very,
sweet.
it was very sweet.
That's nice.
But I really hope she doesn't listen anymore, because
Yeah.
that was one of the tamest episodes.
Yeah.
I didn't say fuck a single time.
Yeah, maybe we should all listen to the first episode again sometime.
Oh, it's so awkward and poorly edited, and like sound quality's bad.
Yeah.
okay.
I have listened to it every once in a while. Well, like one or two other times since then.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had listened to some earlier episodes recently because I got my real life friends into it. So I'm pathetic. And some of our early episodes, I think it starts getting really good around the time me and Cherrydoom went to California. But remember we used to like change up our format and do all this weird stuff? Like it really
there were it took a while to get into a good flow.
really threw me for a loop because like suddenly we would be talking about something else that definitely isn't within the normal order, and I'd be like, wait, what? Is it the end of the episode? Like, it's so short. No, it's not. I actually have a mom story as well. We had company over, and this company was a lady who's the producer for the community city radio station in my city. And I was telling this lady about my podcast, and my mom said, "Oh yes, I've listened to her podcast. It's very well edited, and I think it would be good on the radio." And I knew she was lying. Guess how I know? Because it's not okay for the radio. And I just turned to mom and I was like, "I really hope you haven't listened to my podcast, because it's not safe for work and it's not safe for mom."
Oh, jeez.
She was lying.
I like that she said it was well edited, because I guess she knows you do the editing.
Yeah, she does.
Good call, Mom.
Thanks a lot, Mom.
Do you have a mom story, Chad?
I have a mom.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah, I haven't
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I actually haven't. Neither of my parents know that I do this podcast. Not entirely because I'm like keeping it a secret. I am, but also since I'm not anywhere near them right now, I don't ever have to like justify my actions. So
That's great.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh, we could talk about our 50 Shades / podcast dreams.
Oh, yeah,
This would be a
yeah.
good time for that.
Do we all have one?
I haven't had one.
Yes, you have. You've had one about yourself getting owned. All of our dreams, I think, I don't know if yours does too, Chuuurls. All of our dreams are about Chad getting owned. Right?
Well, in my dream, he represented himself very poorly, but he didn't get owned.
Okay. Well, I'll do mine first, I guess. I dreamed that Chad came up to me and he was like, "Check out this manga I wrote and drew." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I looked at it and it was really badly, like just really poorly drawn. And he was like, "So, do you want to buy a copy?" I was like, I think I'll wait for the anime to come out." And that was it.
That's a really good dream.
Yeah, that's a really good response.
I'll wait for the anime to come out. Chad, do you want to go next?
Sure. So I had a dream where, for whatever reason, I've completely lost the context of the dream. But like Cherrydoom and I were hanging out, and when I say hanging out, I mean that for some reason Cherrydoom really wanted me to read something on the internet, and to do so, she'd placed the monitor on the floor and then my face on the monitor by restraining my hands with like one of her hands behind my back, having me like on my knees doubled over with a foot on my back to keep me pressed against it so I'd be forced to read it. And I was like, okay, geez, all right.
My God, that's insane.
Yeah.
But it is obviously it's what's happening in this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm forcing you to read 50 Shades of Grey.
Everyone's dawing Chad in this podcast. For my dream, I don't even know where to start because I've had multiple dreams. More about Chad, some about Cherrydoom. Well, I've had a couple with the both of you, but the weirdest one I had recently. I think the best way I can do this, I'll just pick one weird one about Chad, one weird one about you, and then the one with the three of us. So, I don't even know what the weirdest dream about Chad I've had is. Do you have a preference, Chad?
I don't know. You've got so many good ones. I guess pick your favorite.
I don't know.
Oh, actually, I know exactly which one you should tell, but you won't do it.
No, which one?
Because the one where I'm ugly involves all three of us. So
the one. Oh, it did. Oh, it did.
Yeah, because we were meeting for like a live podcast in your dream, so you could tell that one as well. But it's the one that you probably don't want to say.
Oh, is it the sex therapist one?
Yes, that one is so funny.
Yeah, that's the one I actually wanted to tell, but I wasn't sure if it was like being
yeah, go ahead.
And I also didn't want it to be like the joke is that it's gay. No, the joke is that Chad was a sex therapist. So, all right, here's what happened. I was visiting Chad and his roommate, which I don't know if you want me to refer to him.
Don't say his name.
Okay, I'm not going to say his name. I was going to visit Chad and his roommate. And his roommate was saying to me, like, oh, Chuuurls, I have a lot of personal problems and stuff, but you know who always helps me and maybe who you should go to? I said, no, I don't know who. He's like, oh, it's Chad. And I was like, well, what kind of therapy does Chad do? And he's like, well, when I'm feeling down, he just... I go into therapy with him, and he takes me from behind. And I looked at him and I gave him like this horrible look, and he was like, please, my girlfriend's fine with it, like, and I love getting fucked in the ass, like.
Wow.
Oh my God. And also, Chad was really fat in that dream, and I was forced to watch the therapy session take place.
My God, my dreams are never this explicit. Like, there's this, okay, for instance, they always end, like, right before anything can happen. Like, for instance, just last night, I had a dream where a handsome Asian delinquent, like, leather jacket boy, like, threw a brick at the windshield of my truck.
Oh no.
And then, like, stepped to me, trying to, like, be like, what are you gonna do about it? And I was like, oh, you fucked up, motherfucker. And I grabbed him and I tied him up. But I was having trouble, like, I couldn't find...
That is the coolest dream.
I couldn't, like, find lengths of rope long enough to, like, get his hands tight enough. And then, like, so I let him go. But then he came back and he was like, I liked it. I want you to do it again.
And then
I woke up.
Dream. Aw, I'm sad it wasn't real.
Yeah.
I guess, okay, so that was the worst dream
But
I had
yours
about...
had, like, explicit about fucking.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was extremely, oh, it was so gross.
That's insane.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I had a lot of weird dreams about Chad. I think it's best to just leave it at that. But, okay, so about Cherrydoom, it wasn't that weird, but I think this is, like, a really funny thing that happened. I had a dream, like, right after I met you, that I was meeting you again, and I was like, Cherrydoom, your hair is so beautiful, and I just started petting your hair, and it was, like, so soft, and I'm like, yes, it's the softest, and I woke up, and I was petting my boyfriend's hair, thinking that it was yours.
You did like my hair.
I did, I loved it, which is why the dream is so funny and accurate. And then the one about both of you is... the two of you were staying at my best friend's apartment because in my not my hometown, but the town I live in now, there was like some kind of comic convention, but it was about like specific cartoon characters. It was like very strange. So I was trying to get together with you two. Cherrydoom in particular was the one I was talking on the phone with, and she passed the phone to Chad, and Chad was like, listen, like, I really don't want to meet up. And I was like, what? Like, why are you being such a pussy? Like, that's what I was thinking. But I was like, okay, like, I guess I understand. And then, like, he gave the phone back to Cherrydoom and was like, we need to meet up! Like, don't have to stop this! Like, I want to record the podcast together, and he's ruining everything! And, we finally did meet up, although Chad kept hiding from me, like, in the backseat of the car, or etc. And Cherrydoom gave me the best donut I've ever experienced in my life.
Oh yeah, I remember this. You tell me about this.
The donut was brown and yellow, but it had, like, a shell, like a marbled shell. It didn't really look like a donut. And it was like a sandwich custard donut. When I bit into it, it was just like, oh, so delicious. Like, I can't even describe the flavor.
Sounds really good.
Then we went to, like, Cherrydoom had, like, this weird ranch, which for some reason was also in my home state. And she had bought this new device. It was a shower, but it was also a refrigerator, and it was like an accordion refrigerator. So you pulled the door out, and it was like, you know, an accordion of condiments and shit, basically. And if you pulled it out all the way, and then you sort of, like, looped it back around so the door was closed, it was a shower. You could take a shower in there. There were also these yarn cats on your property that were, like, feral, and, like, they looked really cute, and, like, you could try to pet them and stuff, but they were actually horrible, and they would bite you, and they, like, bit my arm. It sucked.
And podcast dreams. Hopefully the thing about other people's dreams being super boring doesn't hold true and people are still listening. I thought they were interesting because they were about me. But
I think that my dreams are pretty amusing because they're so
you
insane.
seem to be a very frequent and vivid dreamer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've had some, like, really weird, vivid dreams too, but I'm not going to recount any of them because I...
Because they're mostly
because
about
of
pop culture?
Hmm?
Because they're mostly about pop culture, I think I've heard you say in the past.
Well, that's true, but also I think it's true what Cherrydoom is saying, like, about this particular type of dream, where, like,
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting, but it's, like, really boring to explain.
Well, it's only funny because it's, like, the context is, like, the three of us, so, like...
I will say that in one of the dreams I'm thinking of, at one point, I became Goku. So if that sounds
is the
enticing.
dream.
That is the dream.
If that sounds enticing to you, listeners, please leave an ask or something, and maybe I'll explain it.
Yeah, we can save that for the mega meta episode.
Okay, moving on to something else. I want to share an article that I found
Okay.
called 50 Shades of Grey Halloween Costume Ideas. Whether you want to be Christian Grey, Anastasia Steele, or just dress up with the 50-ish flair, we have some ideas that will make you bite your lip like you just walked into the Red Room for the very first time. This is on 50shadesmovie.org, by the way. A
Yes.
baffling site,
Baffling and beautiful.
if ever there was one.
Yes.
Christian Grey for a guy has many options. And then there's a picture of a grey tie, and the bottom of the tie says, I aim to please, Miss Steele.
Yeah, this is so good. This tie picture is, like, the most atrocious thing I've ever seen. I need you to put this in the blog post.
Okay. Playroom 50. Shirtless with older worn buttonfly jeans. Top button left undone and slung low on the hips. In that way.
That way.
I added that part. Cigarette burns on chest.
Oh my god, what? Wait, can we stop?
They
Why
don't
would you do
offer
that?
any ideas of how to make fake cigarette burns. They
guess-
just say cigarette burns on chest.
I believe they meant the real cigarette burns.
This is an authentic cosplay. A gray tie. For an additional touch, you could use a Sharpie or printable transfer paper to add, I aim to please Miss Steele on the tie.
I aim to please Miss Steele. No comma, by the
Yeah.
way. Interesting.
A pair of handcuffs to a belt loop, attached to a belt loop. An NDA printed out and in your pocket might come in handy at a party.
Yeah, when you're trying to impress all of your, like, new friends. By the way, you all have to sign this NDA.
Don't tell anyone I was
Don't
here
tell
wearing this costume.
Anyone that you saw me like this.
Actually, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody that I cigarette burned my own chest just to look like Christian Grey.
Playroom Anastasia. That was the worst pronunciation of Anastasia I've ever done.
Anastasia.
Anastasia. Toga yourself with a red satin sheet, just like you just rolled out of the playroom bed. Accessorize yourself with either a gray tie, rope, or handcuff on one hand. Brown long wig.
Brown long leg.
Is that really a costume? Like wearing a sheet to pretend like you just got out of bed?
Sure it is.
Maybe. It's red. It is a
You're,
red sheet.
you're being a person. A specific person in a specific situation.
What's your costume? I just got fucked. Is that how you explain it to passersby?
Millionaire 50. Gray suit and tie. White dress shirt. Handcuffs as an accessory. If you can find a helicopter balloon, silver. Write Gray Enterprises on one side and Anastasia, you're safe with me. Well, while we're flying, on the other.
Wait, let's just... Okay, is silver a verb? If you can find a helicopter balloon, silver.
I think they just mean they're saying the helicopter
color.
balloon should be silver if
I
you
know,
can find
but
one.
like, it should be helicopter balloon, silver, in parentheses, comma.
Well,
Hey, Grand Empress is
they're
over.
trying to capture the spirit of the book, Chuuurls. Just
They're doing a good job.
play along.
And hey, look, this picture has a non-disclosure agreement picture, like right under the Millionaire 51, but it was not described in that costume.
To be not so literal, and you will see in a minute why this is not the case at all, in your costume, and just get dressed up for fun. Here is a great piece to wear with a little black dress. And there is a picture of a lady with wearing a fascinator, which is like a tiny dumb hat with a bunch of shit on it.
And a veil covering the eyes.
And a veil covering the eyes. The veil is made of vanette. There are handcuffs, and then there are
paint swatches.
There are paint swatches in the gray color. So it is actually literally 50 Shades of Grey and extremely literal. I've made a few of these literary-inspired accessories now, so putting together the 50 Shades of Grey fascinator was so easy. I could have done it with one hand tied behind my back, while rolling my eyes and chewing on my bottom lip. Seriously, handcuffs on your head is hot, and not hard to do. I opted to use the toy version of the shackles both for safety's sake, and they are a hell of a lot lighter and easier to attach with a glue gun. I actually got all the supplies to make the fascinators from the dollar store. I don't know how... Well, I guess
Fascinators? She didn't put an S in there.
Oh.
Fascinators.
With the exception of the paint chips, which I stealthily pocketed while at the paint shop. I think they actually give them away, but I like to feel sneaky even when I'm not doing anything wrong. Except for not wearing underwear.
Wait, but we have to stop again, because with the exception of the paint chips, they're swatches. They're not chips. When you say paint chips, it makes it sound like asbestos paint chips.
Oh, you're right.
And all I can think is that she's going to eat them. Idiot.
Supplies.
Or already has.
Plastic headband, plastic netting, or fancy tool. 50 paint chips. Plastic handcuffs. So to make, cut a produce bag in 8x10 strips. Scrunch up one end of the veil together and attach... Wait a minute. What?
Cut a produce bag into a 8x12 strips. Scrunch one end of your veil together and attach to a plastic headband with hot glue. Do this over a newspaper because it is going to make a drippy mess, and since your veil is made of plastic, it's going to melt a little bit. One trick
okay. I was confused. I thought she meant like the plastic produce bag that you put apples in.
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be like the veil.
It's a choking hazard.
I'm really confused. No breath play. I didn't agree to this.
Fan your chips and glue one on top of the other. Glue paint chip rosette onto a headband and cuffs on top of that. Open a bottle of expensive Chablis and pick up the phone. Maybe Christian is free for a booty call.
But there's no period. Maybe Christian is free for a booty call. Wow, that was good. I'm so glad we read that.
The site is full of interesting themed 50 Shades of Grey themed articles. A lot of them are about the actors in the movie. But there is one called 50 Shades of Grey crossword puzzle. I'm gonna see if you guys can guess some of these.
Okay.
1 across. Humbly obedient.
Submissive.
Correct. 5 across. Anna's mother is married to her blank husband.
Boring. Nondescript. Absentee.
4th.
I believe she's asking for a number. Wait, it's 4? Even I didn't remember that.
4th. I did. Let's see. 10 down. Anastasia blank. No, 15 down. Anastasia blank.
Anastasia sucks hard.
Wait, sorry, can you read the clue again?
Anastasia blank.
Oh, okay.
Steal. The answer.
Wait, what was the answer to the husband question? Isn't his name Bob?
4th. Her 4th husband.
Oh, her 4th, sorry.
Her Bob husband.
I misunderstood the clue. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you get the idea of the 50 Shades of Grey crossword puzzle.
I do. It's great.
Oh, this is some pretty great fan art.
It's really weird and bad. I found some fan art on the sites. Rufflesandrestraints.com is the person who drew the picture, or rather that's their site.
I mean, I kind of like it.
It's really like
I think
There's-
the expressions are okay.
expressions
But
are
it does,
alright, but
for some reason, it reminds me of Yara Nika.
yeah. Are you ready?
Christian, the anatomy of Christian is totally wrong.
Yeah, it's totally
Yeah.
He's like a torso, and then there's like a pair of legs also next to him.
Yeah, it
But-
reminds me of that picture of that lady I tried to draw before we realized that her pose is completely horrible.
Yeah, it was basically the same thing.
But
Yeah,
for
this actually isn't that
reference, this is a picture of Christian Grey in a sexy newspaper reading pose on the couch, and Anna is facing away from him and rolling her eyes.
She's trying. It kind of looks like she's just looking away.
What's that over there up in the ceiling? Is that a spider? I don't know.
It looks like Christian's like browsing some extremely valuable Leonardo da Vinci notes, and Anna's like, boys and their toys. He's like walking off to do something else.
The description said, "This time she gave us a sketch about Christian and Anna. This time she decided to attempt to capture a moment that isn't specifically referenced in the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, but is something that happened often and probably continued to occur well after the time frame captured in the books. Anna has been a frequent eye roller."
Yeah, like, because it's really not that bad. It's just
Art
like,
is killing me.
I mean,
whoa, his
if
hands
I
are
had made
No,
this,
fucked up.
I
Just
would
wait.
probably be proud of it.
Would you be proud of this? Oh,
Anna's
would
tiny,
not.
first of all.
there's many
Like,
problems.
super tiny. Oh, I do like the shading on the condom packet on the dresser. I think that is good.
I think a lot of these. It strikes me how white everybody is in this picture because you can barely discern them from like the rest of.
Yeah.
At least on my
I live in
monitor.
Seattle. It's very cloudy.
It's very cloudy. This is like
Christian-
anime.
This is another
It
weird.
is.
Yeah, it is. I mentioned this like once before. I think when like, I don't know, they were like nuzzling or something. But Christian looks like a horse nuzzling her foot.
He does.
He's got this like vacant horse expression too. It's amazing.
It's
So-
just bad podcasting because we're not giving the pictures.
Well, presumably they'll be linked, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Sorry, to go back to the costume thing. Do you guys remember a really long time ago, Helmet Condenser, like right when we were starting, I think Helmet Condenser linked a picture of a dog in like a pug lying on the ground in a white shirt with jeans and like sneakers at
yeah.
the bottom. It said, Anastasia, there's been an incident.
No, I
Yes,
don't
of
remember
course.
this.
Oh, it's so good.
I have it, but in any event, I can upload it if you want to post it.
Yeah, I can't wait
Yeah,
to
that'd be
see
great.
this. So something that keeps coming up in this book we haven't really discussed is there's like a definite foot fascination in this book, but it's never like explicitly said. It's just saying it's like, oh, he's touching my feet, or his feet are so naked, or wow,
Yeah.
Christian Grey's naked feet. And I'm wondering like, you would think that like someone as naive as Anna would like notice this, I guess. And like a foot fetish is sort of one of the more sort of
It's extremely
common-
common.
quote unquote weird fetishes.
Well, like a lot of celebrities have it. Like I think,
Yeah.
well, not celebrity per se, this one, but R. Crumb, the cartoon artist, definitely had a foot fetish and talked about
Quentin
it.
Tarantino.
Quentin
does.
Tarantino, yeah.
Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lots
Oh
of
my
rhyming
God,
going
yeah.
on.
But I mean, it's a quality fetish in my opinion.
It's
But
alright. Let them do it.
yeah, sure. But like I don't know, it's weird that it's kind of more of a like a subtext maybe. Not really a subtext, but like it's not like and it's never like, wow, I have a foot fetish.
Right. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I really like it when you like suck on my toes. Like,
So
yeah,
maybe it's just E.L. James who has the foot fetish.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's add her to our celebrity list of
I have a
people who
couple
have
of
foot fetish.
thoughts about that. But first, I wanted to say something that I thought of when you said, like, it's one of the quality fetishes. It's like, yeah, it's the sort of fetish you could take home to mom and dad. Be like, Mom, Dad, I know you've been trying to spice things up in the bedroom. Have you considered feet?
Mom, Dad, I'd like you to be my new fetish.
But
Yeah, I sort of wonder about the foot fetish stuff too, because knowing that this was originally fan fiction, it's hard to, I think, gauge whether it's E.L. James's foot fetish. It doesn't sound like it,
To me, it does sound like it.
Really? Because it seems more to me like she's just throwing it in there for foot fetishists, like giving like throwing them a little something.
Maybe a bone.
I don't know. It seems like a kind of a strange thing to. I mean, I guess if it is more common,
it's pretty widely known, though. Just like the people, like it's one of those things that gets parodied and like brought up in pop culture, like all over the place because it's so well known. And like I've seen like YouTube videos and like other videos where like particularly like women that are just like explaining something, like usually like clothes or something, will also be like, oh yeah, here's something for the foot fetishists, and they'll just show up their feet for a few minutes and then like do something else.
There was a program called DVD on TV that had a female host, and like sometimes she would put her feet up on the table.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like they got tons of creepy like fan mail about it.
So wait, am I to understand that E.L. James basically put this in here to net in the feet demographic?
Yeah, that's my feeling. I don't think she has a foot fetish.
She was a television executive.
She was a television executive, and she's like probably reacting to like some feedback, or like was looking around and was like, oh yeah, people have a foot fetish. I can mention feet. That's easy. That's
interesting. Like as part of like a huge fandom, I feel like I never see foot fetish art.
Yeah, I also
in that particular fandom. I mean, when you see a foot fetish fan art, you will know it because usually it is the character like on their back and their feet are like right up in the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. Like, I feel like it's not quite as it doesn't seem like a fandom fetish.
Yeah, I want to actually I have something to say about that. I feel like it's one of those things that it's an older generation fetish. Not to say that people don't have it now, but
yeah.
It seems like...
That makes sense.
Like, all the famous people we can think of, including E.L. James, who do this kind of thing, they all seem to be kind of, like, not teenagers. Not 20-year-olds. They're, like, 30s, 40s, 50s.
I mean, not to say that it's, like, if you have it, you're an old person, but...
Yeah.
Well, my thinking is, like, you know how there are so many more furries now? Because, like, a certain age group grew up watching anthropomorphic
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, it's probably there's some social aspect we aren't really cognizant of. Just as like a society, maybe. And then also, since a lot of fandoms are composed of like teenagers and like young adults, it might also just be that they haven't had, aside from having like extensive exposure on the internet to like sexuality and porn, maybe they just haven't realized it yet or thought of it or considered it or something like that. So maybe. It's more vanilla. Like I wouldn't even consider a foot fetish, at least like in the general sense of a foot fetish. Not like more of the explicit stuff that I'm aware exists with foot fetish.
Yes.
Is considered pretty like mundane amongst like regular people, I think. But other people are just like, oh, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. I just watched both the Kill Bill movies because they're on Netflix as of recently. I gotta say, he makes them look pretty good.
I think the reason maybe there used to be more foot fetish stuff historically and that there aren't now is because of feminism. For you see, women wear pants now. They don't wear dresses and stockings anymore, which used to be like, it. That's all. So I think it's inevitable that people would get like weird fetishes about like, oh, like, just put on her socks, like, because that's all women had. And it was such a part of being a woman that it's like you...
Legs and pantyhose.
Yeah, legs, feet,
putting on pantyhose.
Yeah. That would be my guess.
Yeah, it's interesting too, though, that like how it's not the same sort of fetishization, but it's a similar breed exists in like other places, like involving feet, like with foot binding and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which is explicitly to make your feet a particular way to be appealing, in case you don't know. But like yeah, because like in a lot of like, so that was like that was a feature
Chinese,
of like Chinese society for a while. But a lot of like Chinese clothing, like the traditional stuff that went along with like a qipao or a lot of that, like did involve pants. Like it wasn't skirts and like dresses and stuff. There were pants and stuff. So it was just an aesthetic that people really liked for some reason.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What next? I was thinking about saying some personal stuff that I've done. I have had my feet licked a few times, and it feels kind of gross. It's not something I particularly am fond of.
I sort of agree. I haven't had anything done to me, but like I'd be open to it, but I wouldn't like it. I'd just be like,
I much prefer just getting my feet rubbed, but that's just because I stand up all day and
yeah, well,
my feet hurt.
It feels good. I actually thought of something really weird, which I don't know if I should say it on this podcast. I think I may have told Chad this story, strangely enough, but 2 semesters ago or something.
Oh, yeah.
I was in this romanticism class, so think like, or American romanticism, so like Edgar Allan Poe and like Herman Melville, that kind of shit. And there's this big steampunk goon lord who used to come in, and amongst other things, he had like this sort of like a purse or a fanny pack filled to the brim with pens and like a big sketchbook too. And every time he would like walk by us in the row to get to his seat, he would just like inadvertently just like smack everybody with all these bags. So okay, but that's not the story. He also had big sideburns and wear a lot of like vests and stuff and fedoras. But he seemed like a nice guy. So, alright. Yeah, he would usually sit behind me in one class time. I don't think he meant to do this, but he started kicking the backs of my feet. And it felt really good. Unfortunately.
Wait, what happened?
He started kicking the backs of my feet and I almost, like, gained sexual climax from that.
Whoa, that's like when I get my hair cut and like the scissors make me feel weird.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
On my scalp. Why was he kicking the back of your feet?
I don't know.
That's rude. Even if you like it, it's rude.
It is
do that
rude.
to someone if you don't know.
I think he's just stupid and he didn't know he was kicking my feet. I think he thought he was just like kicking my book bag or something. Oh, it's weird. But our desks would get so crammed together in that class that like every little thing somebody did, like if they like wiggled or like slammed their book down, like you feel it. Like it sucks.
Weird.
Yeah.
So what else? Anything? What else can we talk about?
What else can we talk about?
It's been a long time, but I was actually curious, Cherrydoom, because you mentioned like how you got your training as a dominatrix, like as an amateur dominatrix, but I don't, as far as I know, or at least I've never been around for it, you never really have talked about like how you came, like, were you just like introduced to BDSM, or did you like were you just like online or in like real life?
For
or something?
a while, I had been like thinking about it. I guess like I would always kind of think, what if I went and checked out a BDSM group? And then I would look online and be like, there's no way I could do this. I'm too shy / sheltered, or like, what would I tell my parents? Or I don't have a car, or that kind of thing. I remember, I think right after I graduated college, I had a lot of free time and no job, and I was feeling like pretty like lonely, I guess, because all my friends had were in college and
Yeah.
they're all
Yeah.
gone. So I like just on a whim looked up a local meeting and I went to it, and like there were only like 2 people there, which I had just happened to go on a really low attended day. But yeah, I just went on a whim, and then I learned about the mentor program at one of the parties, and I went and I did it, and that's about it. I mean,
That's
if
cool.
you wanna get involved, you
Go to a munch.
go to a munch, yeah, and you can find those on FetLife, which is like Facebook for kinky people. I recommend it. It's good. You can really like find people who are into what you're into. And there's probably someone for just about anything.
Yeah, I think so too.
This might be too personal of a question, but like, at what point did you realize like you had a really strong like dominant streak?
I don't know.
You and I could answer this question. It seems to me that Cherrydoom has always been torturing boys from a young age.
Kind of.
Yeah, you've mentioned it like high school things where you were like, maybe it was just part of my dominant like side coming out or something, and I was just curious about like when you really thought about that or like realized like, maybe I'm like really dominant in that way.
I don't know. I feel like it never really concrete like, oh yeah, this is me, definitely. Like I feel like even when I first went to the meeting, I was like, well, what kind of person are you? And I was like, I'm not sure yet, but I'm sort of leaning towards dom. I don't know. I guess, and I guess I tried some stuff out like very, very tentatively with other people, and liked it. But yeah, I don't know. It was a gradient. It wasn't a hard. realization, I guess.
Most people are like that. Like, I think maybe we can edit this out. It's a horrible story, but Chuuurls Gibbons, I had never really considered the whole like dominant side of things because I don't know, the dynamic with people seemed to just be like, oh, you're the submissive bottom partner. That's cool. And I'm pretty pleased with that, but like, ever since I saw those fucking Chris Evans movies, Captain America movies, I'm not kidding. This is, I think, why it has been so confusing for me is that, like, specifically the scenes that I like are the ones where they're restraining him. So I was kind of like, what's wrong with me? Because, like, a boy's never made me feel like this before.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
It is kind of great. But now I'm considering...
Man, you must have loved that picture of him falling on his ass.
I did. I thought it was really cute, actually. But
yeah, I wouldn't say, like, sexually arousing, because he looks so silly.
Like, I don't know if you guys saw Winter Soldier. I guess maybe Cherrydoom didn't, but
nope.
When they're trying to capture him and they have, like, the magnet cuffs, and it keeps sticking him to stuff, I liked that, and I also liked basically anything like that. I'm so embarrassed. But it's so strange because I'm 24 years old. I never had thought I would find an interest in those things past, my earlier phases of figuring myself out.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, like, the reason that you will go to a lot of BDSM meetings and it will just be all old people is that people don't discover this until they're way older.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, they are not comfortable, like, exploring it until they're much more mature. So it's not, I would say it's not strange at all that you discovered something you liked.
One final thing about the Chris Evans thing, it's actually not the restraint part that I find the best, but like the times where he voluntarily wants to be punched in the face or hurt. Like,
yeah,
he's like,
great, I love it.
Like, I can take it. Or like, he's like, Bucky, I'm in with you till the end. Like, just fucking punch me. Like, I don't know, there's something so cool about that I found interesting. And we'll continue to find interesting and try to figure out.
Yeah, I would like to find somebody to, like, just fucking beat up. But yeah, I don't know. For
some reason, you saying that reminded me, like, I think maybe look for somebody who is in, like, martial arts or something, because they seem to like getting beat up a lot.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really so much into, like, the sex aspect of it, just because I have huge intimacy issues, but I would like to just beat somebody up and punch them a lot. And I mean, I don't know if you want to say this, but like you mentioned that like you weren't exactly into like the sexual aspect of BDSM, but like
right, because we had
a fun and interesting thing to do.
Yeah, like to other people.
To other people, yeah.
For myself, it's a little less like that, but only a little less. I guess we were talking about like for the final episode.
Right.
Final, or not exactly final, because I think
we're trying to figure out what we were going to do for the next 2 books.
So we were thinking, because it wouldn't be right to just do book 1 and then say, like, that's it, bye-bye. But on the other hand, we don't want to do what we did with book 1 with book 2 and 3, because that would just take fucking forever, and they're bad books. That's cruel and unusual punishment.
Yep.
So we had floated the idea. The first idea was I would get really drunk and try to say what had happened in books 2 and 3 without checking, but like that's not really cool. It's like kind of weird drug-wise.
When I was the big baby, and I can't.
I think we all agree we'd rather keep it a sober podcast, just because like I don't want people being like, oh, it's cool to get drunk, and then like think that I'm all about that lifestyle.
No, it's a normal thing. I don't think anyone would be swayed either way. I mean, it's a normal part of like society.
It is a bit, but like it's not. I don't want to glamorize it myself, so I kind of am shying away from that. But the idea was to do it in some kind of modified circumstance, and since then I've thought of some funnier things. But another thing that we had discussed was Cherrydoom hitting me while I try to get the book straight. But there's obviously some problems with that. First of which is that we don't live close enough to each other to do that. And second of which, my partner might be angry with me. And third of all, strangely sexual. But then we both said to each other, like, I don't really consider it that sexual, which, like, just don't touch me and it'll be fine. But since then, I hadn't...
Well,
Well, yes. No, Chad, don't. Are you going to say what I think you're going to say?
I don't know.
No, you're not.
What are you thinking?
Boy, I can't wait to hear or not hear this.
We had discussed that I might be near where Chad lives pretty soon, in time for the last episode.
Yes.
Don't-
I was going to say, you could hit me.
Oh,
Like, I could force myself to read the books. You
See,
could
I
hit me
thought it
out.
was. I thought it was going to be the opposite. Since I read all the books already, I would be the one having to get hit by Chad, which is
That doesn't
not.
seem right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right to me either. But my actual idea that I think
That
we
is
should
not
do-
Chad's position in this podcast.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It just wouldn't be right.
My thought was, I think if I Cherrydoom had floated the idea of me summarizing every chapter in like one sentence, and then we could all switch off reading them, but we should all do it while eating food. So
Oh my
it'd be
god.
like,
Some people will be really mad about that. Some
Why?
people have, well, okay. Some people have some sort of thing where, like, the sound of chewing makes them extremely angry.
No, it shouldn't be chewing. It should just be like, because I was eating a banana and I was doing it, and I was like, "I'm such a good fuck," and I thought it was really funny.
Well,
But like not chewing, just like having something in your mouth. Like, could even just be like a
Like
mouth guard
marshmallows or
or a
something?
marshmallow, yeah.
okay. That's fine,
So it
I
wouldn't
guess.
be like or anything like that. It would just be like, garbled words, basically.
Alright, but I mean, I do feel like you should get maybe some people might want to know what
yeah,
we're saying.
absolutely. Well, too bad, because it's not worth it, really.
Okay. It would be nice to like not have to keep myself from eating during the podcast. Like I'm
Yeah.
constantly tempted to do.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a way to combine all of our interests. Doing
Especially
something
considering when we
stupid
record.
and eating food.
So we also wanted to think about continue doing some sort of podcast, but not 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we have a good vibe going with each other,
Yeah.
and I think it would be wrong not to explore that some more. Somebody had suggested that we just do a book review podcast.
That would be
Yeah.
cool, except I don't know if I can
Except.
read a book every
Yeah,
week.
there is that. I mean, we could also just have like a variety podcast. I mean, I see no problem with that, and we're doing pretty well right now, just talking about whatever.
We could read parts
could-
of books. Like, we could start reading a book for
Yeah.
like a week, and then just talk about like if we thought we might continue it, or like if we thought other people might continue it if it sounded interesting.
I could do audiobooks, definitely.
Yeah,
So I
okay. What if
listen
it
to
was
it at
just bad
That's
short
true.
books, though?
Oh, like Amazon singles or whatever they're called.
I don't know if
Like
I
the
want to subject myself to that. That might be worse than 50 Shades.
What I was thinking is we could do like a different thing every week. Like every month we do a movie, a book, like an episode of a TV show, and then
that'd
something
be
else.
Really good.
That'd be cool. Yeah, we could do like comics too, like graphic novels
yeah.
or something.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so we could just
Yeah.
be like a
we
media
could probably
review
also
podcast.
do like with comics, like especially if it's just like self-contained graphic novels, of which I have a terrible knowledge. You can read those in like 45 minutes.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
like,
really quick. I think that and just like a stupid variety podcast would be good, like more along the lines of discussion, like
Yeah.
just like stupid discussions of like what's wrong with me or like the latest fake problem that I'm having or
yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. Any of these ideas.
yeah. But I
Sure.
think we definitely have a future together for sure.
Friends forever.
Friends.
Future is
forever.
much brighter than the 50 Shades past we're leaving
Oh,
behind.
thank God, our dark gray shady past,
The
filled
Grey
with
Period.
cigarette burns and
Oh man,
naughty doms.
someday we could do a video game review.
Oh, I forgot about video
Oh, of course
games.
we should. Duh.
course.
That's something the three of us could all do together. Maybe we should do
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2, because it's the one that we all have played.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're getting your Dark Souls 2 soon.
Oh my god, yes, I'm supposed to get my PlayStation today, and then I think I might just go straight out to the store and get the fucking game, rather than...
Oh, are you
waiting.
getting a PlayStation?
I am
to play
getting a
Dark Souls 2? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, only to play
Congrats.
Dark Souls 2. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got it really cheap. I got it for like $115.
Nice.
Yeah. It had everything except the mini USB cord, but I have one of those already.
How far into it are you?
I played a lot lately. Who was the last boss I beat? It was like the ghost ship boss. That's where I am. I'm like the
Oh, yeah.
bonfire right after that.
Exile
Sentry.
Sentry. Who
Yeah.
was kind of disappointing because
Yeah,
he only
it's kind
used
of
his
a puss.
katanas like twice.
Yeah.
That boss is
I thought he was
super
gonna like
chunky.
turn around and like do another
Yeah.
thing, but he didn't.
I thought he'd have like surprise attacks where he like whipped around real quick or something like that,
Yeah.
but no, it's really
You just kind of
sort
go
a
to
boring
his
boss.
side and you just hit him, because that's basically like is back.
You beaten actually, like, well, that was the most recent boss that you beat, but you've actually done other more interesting bosses, because, like, you summoned me, we fought both the Executioner's Chariot and the Skeleton Lords.
Yeah, skeleton.
I
God, I own those
Lords.
Skeleton Lords. Did you see how fast I beat? I just killed them. I mean, you helped, but
I was there.
yeah, you were there.
There was a bit of a worry there, though, because I tried, like, I was like, remember, bone wheels,
Don't use
and you're
super
like, bone
stupid.
wheels, and then the bone wheels came, and you're like, oh my god, bone wheel!
Yeah, I was really scared. It's true.
Chad, you finished it?
No, I haven't.
Where are you?
I'm like a third of the way through, I think, because, like, where am I? I got through the, like, Shaded Ruins, and I beat the, like, Scorpion boss, and,
How many big ol' souls do you have? Great souls,
A lot.
if you know. I mean, like of the 4.
of the big souls. Just the one, and then I'm about to get, like, a second one, I think, or
Yeah.
like, because there's only 2 that you hold in your inventory, and then there's one that's like you embrace it, but it doesn't show up as an item, which is the Spider Queen boss or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess 3. Yeah.
No, it's pretty good.
Wow, I'm further than Chad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
both of us.
you are. I've dropped into your streams a couple times and then not stuck around because I'm like, oh no, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Well, we can talk about that.
Well, I'll just put in a trigger warning for Dark Souls 2 spoilers. But
Yeah.
I love trigger warnings. I'm still so mad at that person who's like, oh, don't put them in.
How dare you?
How dare
this
you.
is what's wrong with America.
This is
I don't even
podcast.
understand, like, why that's even a bother to them, because it's
Yeah.
like not any. It's not like it takes time.
How dare you
out
be
of-
considerate? It's making me mad.
If it makes you so mad, skip them when you see them in the post or something.
I mean, some people say that like, you can't know everyone's trigger warning. Like, for instance, I'm going to use a really weird example from the movie Black Snake Moan, starring Christina Ricci and
We should watch that.
Samuel L. Jackson. I like that movie.
I haven't seen it,
Even
but
though
I've heard it's
I-
really good, but I've never seen it.
I don't think it was critically
acclaimed.
acclaimed. But her trigger was like a lighter flicking. So, like, you're not going to know that one person has a lighter flicking
Yeah.
trigger. But, I mean, you can obviously, give the most common trigger warnings for, what...
Well, things that are so obviously horrible
Yeah.
for, like, the majority of the population. I think that's alright. Like, Dark Souls 2
Yeah.
spoilers. My god.
Yeah, that's not really like the point of trigger warnings. Like, it's not to, like, catch everything a person could possibly be triggered by. It's to, like, tag, like, really
yeah.
big things that, like,
Yeah.
you don't want someone that has actual, like, real trauma that, like, you could know, like, any I don't want to actually say anything.
Well, not to say
but
real
just,
trauma,
like,
but to say, like, common real traumas, like sexual abuse.
yeah, like, or any sort of abuse, really, or, like, violence or something like
Or, like,
that.
genital
or,
mutilation. That's a pretty classic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That anybody, regardless of whether you've had that done to you or not, you find it disgusting, so you want to stay away from it.
Yeah, because like definitely there are
Unless you're Cherrydoom.
things that you could, like, obviously, like, trigger memories in a person that you could never know about, and it's specific to that person.
Right.
But, like,
Well, the responsibility...
and that's not something, like, you or they can control,
Yeah.
but, like, if it's a memory, like, that triggers a memory that is about one of those other things, like, it's a memory of, like, abuse or something, and just mentioning the abuse would trigger it, that is a thing you can control. Like, you can say, like, oh, well, don't listen to this if it could be disturbing to you.
I think a lot of people do not understand, too, that, like, certain triggers, if you have them and they're that bad, you should not be on the internet. Like, for instance, I don't remember the exact name, it's like phobia, but it's like, it's the phobia of, like, having somebody look straight at you. It makes people mildly uncomfortable, but some people it's like a trigger. It's like, don't go on the internet because there's a million selfies of people doing just that.
That's true. What about, for instance, food? I see every time, like, people will tag food on Tumblr
Tag me.
for like people who are supposedly for people who are recovering from eating disorders.
Oh, that's true, actually. I wonder.
Yeah. I don't know. It is strange to like have to tag a thing that, you know, you put in your mouth every day.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, I don't know.
What do I think? I think there are a lot more people with eating disorders on Tumblr specifically, because it tends to be a lot of teenagers. True. So I find that vaguely reasonable, for sure. But I don't know. It's kind of like your mileage may vary. If you don't want to do it, it's a free country, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
You're not going to get killed over you not.
I mean, I think the
food.
other big argument for it, not necessarily the extreme of tagging like every single thing you could possibly think of necessarily, is just that, like, you know, if you are browsing a site like Tumblr or certain other like curation sites, it is literally curated. So you do have the option of controlling, like, you want as a consumer to sort of feel like you are in control
right.
of what you're browsing. And if a person can aid you in that and like not be a dick about it, then I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing to want. Like, cause someone is making this content and like, it's totally most of the time within their power to take like a minute or two to tag something, that is maybe like a big thing or even a much more niche sort of, trigger warning to keep it out of the way of people that might not want to, like, in daily life, maybe they don't have any control over, you know, walking around, seeing things that might trigger them. So when they're relaxing on the internet or, you know, like at home, casually browsing the internet to see like what's up on Tumblr, they just don't want to deal with it. That seems reasonable to me.
I mean, there are a lot of things you can do, like Tumblr Savior. You can do things where like images are disabled. You can just not follow people who will not respect your trigger needs. So there's that.
I think that's what most people do.
There's many ways to kind of get around things without starting a big drama fight. I think that's what people don't understand.
Yeah, I don't want to start drama either. I don't even use Tumblr.
No, you're not. I was talking about people who are like, my triggers were not being respected. Like, no kidding, because your triggers are, you know, not conventional triggers, and like, you know, it's not your fault, but be cool about it.
Yeah, because I do feel bad about like, how sort of the way that trigger warnings have been used has gotten a little ridiculous to the point where it's become a joke, because I don't really think for like the real reasons that they were originally like used by most people at large in the Tumblr community and in like online was a joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotten to the point where people will joke about that stuff, and it is sort of messed up and disrespectful to the people that are like, my trigger warning is like, you know, extremely painful memories of something I don't want to think about or something like that.
I feel like at that point, it needs to be in your hands. You need to own your trigger as the trigger haver and say to yourself, like, it's not somebody else's fault, because it's not the same for them. Just have a brain. Try that. Okay?
On a different note, I just found www.grayenterprisesholdings.com.
Oh my god.
And it says, now accepting applications for our internship program. Please submit. The emphasis is my own, by the way. Your information below, and we will contact you about available opportunities. Thank you for your interest.
Cool.
And then you can give your name, email, mobile phone, zip code, sex, age, and you can choose to receive text messages or not. About us. Great Enterprises Holdings is a world leader in communication technologies, sustainable energy, and intelligent systems development. Through its mergers and acquisitions arm, it has built a shipping, logistics, and commodities network that spans the globe. GH, or GE, works with developing nations to pioneer radical innovations in agriculture and strengthen indigenous economies. Great Enterprises Holdings. We invest in humanity.
So I assume this is like a tie-in site for the movie
copyright 2014 Universal Studios. All rights reserved. I don't know, like what? I guess you get news if you apply. So
you just get texts from Christian Grey.
Oh my god, that'd be so weird. Everybody sign up a friend. Everybody secretly sign up your friend for The internship
It's just all
program.
these texts like, where the fuck are you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Oof.
Beautiful.
And then occasionally you get one of the like really creepy ones that are like, how many of those Cosmos are you gonna drink? Christian Grey. I'm drinking. Oh, this is just water.
I'm gonna
Leave me
sign up.
alone. This is just water.
It's happening right now.
Yay! You'll have to give like a report
Yeah.
on the next Mega Meta episode about that. Yeah, also, just to talk randomly about something, the drink explanations in our podcast, I feel like that's fun because the video game, Catherine, you can get a million drink explanations from that one deep voice man, and I really loved that part of that game. I don't have a PS3, but I have seen a lot of Let's Plays.
You're gonna have a PS3 soon.
Yes, I know.
Get Catherine.
Everybody buy me blue video game.
Now I'm visiting the official Tumblr. Happy birthday, Jamie Dornan.
Oh no.
Oh man,
birthday, I guess.
he is doing that thing where he puts his thumb on his lip and he is smoldering. Yep.
Cute. I guess I don't really have anything else to say about the drinks. I hope I do enough research and don't anger people.
I don't think people will get mad about drinks. Come on,
Okay,
deal with it. It's a drink.
but it's fun. I like drinks. I like that our culture makes them.
We're a book podcast, not a drink podcast.
Yeah, well, the same can be said about many things.
Many things that are not drink
Here's
podcasts.
a picture of a glass of wine, and then this is a tweet from E.L. James. A glass of wine, and then a little Scrabble like letter tile holder, and it just says Dornan on it. Jamie Dornan, who's playing Christian Grey, and it says, "Who wants to play?"
No.
Man, that's like a super like mommy thing.
It
to,
is a
like-
super E.L. James thing to tweet because there's white wine
Yeah,
in it.
Who wants to play? Oh, what a loser.
Gosh, we're being so mean to her. I mean, she does have $1 million goddamn dollars, and then
She's
some.
$1 million goddamn dollars. She can dry her tears with all of them.
I think I'm the meanest, honestly, and I feel bad about it sometimes because like I just call her an idiot, like for no real reason other
Yeah.
than this book isn't well written.
I would rank it Chad meanest, me second meanest, Cherrydoom least mean.
I'm just taking it out on her because like I'm bitter about the experience. Not that I like haven't enjoyed the podcast, but like sometimes going through the chapters is arduous because they're boring
Oh my
as shit.
god, yeah. Chapters are terrible. I mean, the podcast's so great. But
Well, we've been talking
maybe
for
we should
an hour
probably
and
wrap
20.
up.
Yeah.
should we?
Yeah.
Hour and 20?
Yeah.
Hour and 1.
Yeah,
Hour and
I'm
20.
sorry, I was looking at that
Oh.
wrong.
No, I understand. Yeah, but we should just end off. I hope everybody liked our little mini meta episode, and we'll be back to our normal programming, chapter 24, next week.
Yeah.
Yay! So
Laters,
laters, baby.
baby.
Laters, baby.